everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Brittany and I am a part-time reseller. Ever since my last huge thrift haul series, you guys have been asking about the app called Flyp. Flyp in a nutshell is an app that easily connects resellers and clients to make Consignment a seamless integration into their business. So Flyp helps resellers expand into Consignment, but it also helps clients sell their items. So you can either be a pro seller or you can be a client with Flyp. It's kind of like a twofold app. But in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about being a pro seller. I'm gonna be giving you a rundown and kind of like a review with my experience as a pro seller on Flyp. I have officially been on the app for about 3 months now as both parties, as both a pro seller and a client. But today's video, we are going to be talking about being a pro seller. So this has actually been a very highly requested video on my channel. So I actually reached out to Flyp to see if they would want to collaborate on a video with me, and they said yes. So I'm happy to announce that today we have a sponsor. Flyp is sponsoring this video. So thank you to Flyp. And now let's get started on how to grow your reselling business with risk-free inventory. All right, you guys, so let's go over the basics one more time. So what is Flyp? So Flyp is an app that is both on Apple and on Android. That's a big news update, but it easily connects resellers and clients to make Consignment on both sides a seamless integration into their business model. So Flyp is really helping to empower resellers to get into the Consignment realm and also be protected with it. And then it's also helping clients figure out a really great way to sell your items and support small businesses, really is what you're doing. And it offers so many protections for both sides. It's kind of just like a huge win-win-win. You'll find out in this video, so we'll talk about it more later. And then we'll also talk about it in my next week's video where I go over being a client on Flyp as well. But in a nutshell, being a pro seller on Flyp, you are guaranteed risk-free inventory, and there are no upfront costs, $0. So as a pro seller, you don't have to pay for shipping, you don't have to pay for the initial cost of goods, you don't have to spend any time looking for the items, and Flyp doesn't even have a fee. There's no fee for both the seller or the client. There's no fee. As of now, at least. I mean, I personally would be willing to eventually pay a small amount because it really is that good of a service, and everything that they provide is fabulous. But yeah, you guys, so if you haven't started on Flyp already, make sure you do. I will of course leave links in the description below where you can sign up, and it'll automatically direct you to the app, whatever phone you're on. But yeah, take advantage of it being 0% fees right now. It's fabulous. The inventory that you can pick from is made up of designer and premium brands, and it is delivered straight to your door, obviously at no cost to you. And yeah, your time is saved. You only end up paying when you sell the items, and the entire journey of being on Flyp is so fun. You end up building really great relationships with your clients that might actually end up being lifelong partnerships. So Flyp is really no other app that there's nothing else on the market like this. So now let's go over step by step how it works. So first you need to, one, download the app. You can do that directly from my description, of course, so it saves you time. You're welcome. If you do, I will of course get a kickback for referring you to the app, so thank you in advance if you do decide to do that. Once you download the app, then you can apply to being a pro seller. So basically you just put in an application to let them know that you are a reseller, you do have some experience, and you're in good standing with your sales. So you're going to be putting in, obviously your information, and then you're going to be putting in all the links to where you currently sell on, and then you will have a few little questions that you can fill out as well. So I personally really love that they do this because it's their way of vetting resellers to make sure you're legitimate. I think it took me a few business days to hear back, but I was accepted obviously as a pro seller. Once that happens, then you do have to verify your ID to make sure you are who you say you are. So I love that they do that as well. And you have to be able to do that before you even apply to a lot. So it's really great on the client side to know that, these are resellers. And of course they come from all different years of expertise in whatever they sell, but they are real people and their ID is on file. So after that, clients will obviously list their lots, and those items in those lots are reviewed and approved by Flyp before even going live. So you don't even have to worry about vetting those items. Flyp has already done that for you to make your experience as a pro seller as easy as it possibly can be. So new lots are dropped every weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and they do have notifications to alert you when those lots do drop. So they will get posted at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then they end up ending. The last application call is at 9 a.m. the next day. So in that time period, you have time to browse those lots, figure out the lots that you want to apply to, and then apply to them. All you do is go into the lots, see if there are items that you would want to sell, and then there's a little apply button. You just click that, you put in your commission rate, and you send it on its way, and then Flyp will work its magic and end up matching you with the best client possible. So the next day at 9 a.m., like when the lots end, your match becomes available, and Flyp will automatically send both you and a client a message saying, hey, you guys matched. Now, as the pro seller, this is a little pro tip, I think it is kind of like common courtesy, I don't know, to just go ahead and reach out to your client, give some communication up front, let them know that you are excited about the match and that you will give them price estimates on that entire lot of items by a certain time or within a certain period, maybe when you get off of work or whatever it may be. Just make sure you're doing your due diligence, research the items, and make sure you're giving them an accurate quote. But definitely you want to make sure you err on the side of under promising and over delivering. So like if you really think something is going to sell for 20 bucks, but your hope is 25, definitely make sure you have a range between like maybe 17 and 22 or something. So that way the client isn't expecting that $25. And then in all reality, it's only going to be around that $20 mark. So anyways, you're going to go ahead and fill out all those price estimates and send it to your client. If there's any questions there, you have a in-app chat, which is fabulous. I love everything that's inside of Flyp, where you chat with your client, you talk about anything, any errors, or if it was a little bit less than what they thought, maybe you have some time to explain it. I know as a client, I have asked for like item specific estimates or screenshots. And then as a seller, I have on the side created a spreadsheet of all of the items and where I intended to start the item and then the range that I expected it to sell for. And then I put in my expected commission and then the client's expected commission payout, whatever you want to call it. So I'll give you a few more tips here in a second about the commissions and how to apply to lots. Let me quickly wrap up how to get your items, your risk-free inventory. So once your client accepts your price estimates, Flyp will then send them a shipping label. And now there is a $9 fee on the client side that they do have to pay once the first item or two sells. It just automatically gets taken out of their pay. So still, as a pro seller, you don't have to pay for shipping, which is fabulous. So Flyp will send them the shipping label. They go ahead and drop it off at like UPS or USPS, and it comes straight to your door. And then once the items arrive, quickly get through the items, just analyze and make sure all the items are there, make sure they're in the right condition, just approve, make sure all the items are correct. If there is anything that has a questionable condition, just chat with your client and let them know if something needs to change price estimate wise or if something just needs to be outright donated. For me, I ended up having an item come to me. It was a North Face item. It was believed to be the North Face, but in my experience of reselling, I knew it was actually a fake North Face and I would not be able to sell it online. And I let my client know that. They were completely understanding, and then I was able to mark it as donated and I took it to my local Goodwill. So if that happens, don't worry, there are definitely ways to go about it. And if for whatever reason you can't come to a compromise or you're just having issues, which I doubt will ever happen because everybody that I've come into contact with on Flyp that is a pro seller or a client or is a part of the Flyp staff have been wonderful people and are always wanting to make sure everything runs smoothly. So definitely don't worry about that. If you do need to reach out to their customer support, I think you can access their email through the app, but it is just support@joinflyp.com. So once you've approved all those items, you are now in a 90-day selling window to go ahead and sell those items. So you definitely want to go ahead and get started, picture your items, measure them if you do that, and get them listed on your sites. As a pro tip, as a pro seller tip also, and then also as a client, I guess, once you go ahead and start getting your items listed listed, I would reach out to your client and let them know, hey, by the way, you can go ahead and check out my profiles and see that your items are getting listed today. They will all be up by Tuesday or Wednesday this week or whatever it may be. Ultimately, the moral of that story is just have really good communication with your client, and everything just works out way better that way. So you have 90 days to sell those items. You definitely want to make sure you are pricing accordingly, but also working towards meeting that 90-day window. So maybe at that 60-day mark, if there has been no traction yet, go ahead and start lowering your prices, because remember, you initially gave them a lower end price estimate range. Of course, you want to sell the item for the most that you possibly can, but if it's not selling, but it still hasn't reached that price estimate point, then go ahead and get that sold. If you come all the way to the end of the 90 days, there are 4 options that you can do. You can ask to extend the consignment window, I think an additional 45 days, or they have a new option where you can fully buy out those items. And in fact, this is a new feature where you can actually buy out the items as soon as you get the items, really. Some clients want a quick payout. So now there is a feature where a client could request a buyout, or as a pro seller, you can inquire about a buyout. Of course, you definitely want to make sure there's communication, but basically you can offer a buyout, or your client could offer a buyout as well. Basically where you pay a flat rate for all the items instead of just waiting those 90 days for those to slowly trickle in. Typically you are going to be paying less, and the client would expect that you would accept a lower amount, like a more reasonable cost of goods for them depending on the item. So definitely make sure you are in communication if that's something you're interested in. So that is another quick way to get some risk-free inventory. But you can also wait till the end of the 90 days and then put in a buyout request. I personally have done this with the 2 lots that I have sold as a pro seller, and typically my average cost of goods is $5 per item. I think one lot I had 3 items remaining, and then another one I had maybe, I think it was 6 or 7. It was a bigger lot. Both of my clients were happy to accept that. So once that is all accepted, you just go to your payout option, which you would normally do throughout the month as things sell. And then you would go ahead and pay out all of those items for whatever you guys agreed upon, of course, averaged out from all of those items. Another option that you can do is mail the items back to your client within 14 days. And for now, it is free. But I guess because they do that disclaimer, it might cost on one side or the other later down the road, which I think would incentivize you to go ahead and sell all the items in that 90-day window. But for now, at least when I'm filming this video, if you do decide to send your items back, it is free in that 14-day window. But also make sure those items are in the exact same condition that you received them in. And then the last possible option is you can mark the items as being donated if you and your client came to that consensus. If they didn't want to wait any longer, if they did not want the items for whatever reason, they will tell you to go ahead and donate all of them, and then you can go into each item and mark each one as donated. So ultimately, you do want to sell all of your items. As they sell, you go back to your lot, you find the item, you mark it as sold for the price that it's sold for. And I do mean the gross price, because it is an all-inclusive commission with Flyp. So for example, if you marked your commission as 50%, that does have to include the platform fees. However, it does not include shipping. So if for whatever reason you offer free shipping or a shipping discount, you do not have to include that in the payment, but you definitely have to include the platform fees. So that is something that is unique to Flyp, is that it is an all-inclusive commission. So when you are starting out, these are some good tips. If you're a new pro seller on Flyp, they do recommend that you have a lower commission, because it does make you more desirable in the beginning, that clients would want to work with you. So I would say the lowest I would recommend is 40%, because you do need to remember that that needs to account for your platform fees. They do recommend anywhere from 40 to 50% when you're starting off applying to your newest lots. But I personally started off with 50% and went ahead and scored 2 lots on my first time, and it worked out. And I think that is pretty fair in the eye of a client. A 50-50 split with their 50% including everything regarding selling an item. It's really great, and especially since Flyp narrows down those designer and premium brands, it's worth it, because you're selling $50, $60, $80, $100 items. That commission is still really great, and you're saving time, you're not going outsourcing. It's risk-free inventory. And of course, as you become a more seasoned pro seller, you can request more commission. I have seen, I think 60% is kind of the norm for the higher tier. Of course, you can put out more, but if there's gonna be multiple applicants of pro sellers on a lot, they are less of a priority. Like, they're less likely to be matched because they cost so much. So to stay competitive, I think Flyp recommends being between 40 and 60%, but if you're new, you definitely want to stay between 40 and 50%. And like I said earlier, Flyp does review all of the lots to make sure they are premium and designer brands. So you can expect things like Lululemon, you can expect Nike, you can expect Kate Spade, Tory Burch, Rag & Bone, Anthropologie, Free People, you name it. The list can go on and on and on. There are fabulous brands that they accept. They just don't accept like your typical generic brands, your mall brands. Some mall brands, like they accept like American Eagle, but American Eagle is very widely used. So yeah, that is pretty much a step-by-step guide of how to be a pro seller on Flyp. All right, and before we wrap up, I just want to kind of give a quick review of my experience on Flyp thus far as a pro seller. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I have been on Flyp as both a pro seller and a client for about 3 months, ever since March of 2021, and I've had a fabulous experience thus far, which is why I've been talking about them a ton on my channel, which is why I reached out to them and asked if they would want to collaborate with me because I love them so much. Flyp is unlike any other thing on the market right now as an application, as a resource for resellers. Like, they really truly are looking out for the resellers, for the I mean, of course, the clients as well, but you know, you're used to platforms like eBay being one-sided, you know, only looking out for their buyers and not their sellers. Or I feel like Flyp is really, really focusing on the sellers, and they're listening to what they need, and they're bringing it. They're bringing it to the table. So I love that they're being innovative and they are so involved in the community. Their customer support has been really, really great. And honestly, the app is so easy to use. Like, the FAQs are great. It's really self-explanatory. Once you get on the app, you will easily be able to maneuver yourself through it. Looking for lots is really fun and kind of addicting, so just be careful of that. Another fun tip, not fun tip, but just to be aware of, you can only apply to so many lots in the beginning. I think you're limited to 50 items in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, or at least I was limited to 50 items. I ended up needing to sell 10 items before I was able to apply to more lots, but I am kind of shifting gears with my reselling business, so I actually ended up leaning more into the client side of Flyp rather than the pro seller. But I did have 2 really successful lots. I worked with 2 really fabulous ladies, and the chat on there is really great. It makes consignment so easy. I always thought consignment was so hard, but Flyp really makes it so easy. I love it because I just feel like I can trust everybody that I end up getting matched with. I really love what they're doing for both the sellers and the clients. I love them for both. Yeah, you guys should definitely give them a try. If you've been looking for that extra oomph in your business, or you're trying to lean into consignment, see if it's right for you. This really is a risk-free way of doing that. The link will, of course, be in the description below. But yeah, you guys, the client video will end up being out next week. I'm really looking forward to that one. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you are. It is the little red box down below. That is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, and you learn something new and you're gonna give Flyp a try, make sure you hit the like button on the way out because it does support my channel here on YouTube as well. And another big major thank you to Flyp for sponsoring today's video. I so appreciate it, and I feel very honored that you guys are willing to work with me too. But yeah, you guys, that's it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one. All right, bye.